The Celtic coins, we have the depiction of the goddess as holding a branch of a tree with some leaves on it or with some berries or fruit on it. So these 9 parallels make a very exact, a very clear picture. We can state for sure that the Gallic Celtic goddess is definitely derived from her earlier prototype of the Ushas Aditi in Rigveda. And of course we know that Rigveda was composed in the northwestern Hindustan, so between 3300 and 2600 BCE, that is in the early Harappa, before mature Harappan era. So we can see here that the cult of Ushas-Aditi is very ancient when compared to the cult of the last centuries of BCE of the Celtic naked horse goddess. Definitely the Celtic goddess originated from the Rigvedic one, from the South Asian one. But what makes this conclusion even stronger is that is the sword, the antenna-hilted sword of the Celtic goddess. I'm not going to describe you all the types of antenna-hilted sword in the Celtic culture. Of course, you all know that first archaeologically recorded antenna-hilted sword in the South Asia come from Sanauli cemetery between Yamuna and Ganga. And we have here the date 1000, approximately radiocarbon date 1900 BCE. And we have at least 4 bronze or copper swords with antenna hilts and 1 dagger. And all this you can see in my book. Again, of course, you know this. And what is important that Indian Sanoli antenna-hilted swords, they are the most ancient of all antenna-hilted swords in Eurasia. We even don't know the exact dating of dozens of antenna-hilted swords spread across Indian museums and Metropolitan Museum, for example, in the USA. Here they give the date between 1500 and 1000 BC, but we know that they may be as early, now we know as early as 1900 BCE. So we also have 2 antenna-hilted swords in the British Museum. For example, this one, very beautiful, very long projections, antenna projections. And then we have the appearance of the antenna-hilted swords in the Celtic, pre-Celtic Unfield culture. That is the culture of the cremation urn fields. It is dated between 1300 and 800 BCE. It is exactly the pre-Celtic culture, the first culture which can be identified as the ancestor of the Celts, historical Celts, of Hallstatt and Latin cultures. And then we have many sorts of 7 types of antenna hilts. Watching this typology, we can state that the Indian Sanoli antenna-hilted swords are the prototypes for the Celtic antenna-hilted swords. And I'm not going to describe you all the swords. They are listed in this in this book, many of them. But we see the development of the first Celtic antenna-hilted swords through several stages, and then we come to the stage where the antenna projections looked like the limbs of the human body. And this last stage, it comes with the Latin culture, approximately about the 4th or the 3rd centuries BCE. I will show you just some very definite examples. Yes, here. For example, this one, you can see legs and hands and a head, and again. And they have some ball points instead of fingers or toes. They have some ball points. And this is exactly what we see on the gold coins of the Gallic tribes, with the depiction of the naked horse goddess. So two rows of parallels can be traced, summarizing our work. The first is that the Celtic horse-riding goddess originates from the Ushasa deity, Rigvedic and South Asian goddess of the early premature Harappan epoch. And the second, that it holds an antenna-hilted sword, which itself originates from the Sonoli antenna-hilted swords of the South Asian post-Harappan culture of the Dab, of Yamuna Ganga Dab. And we can even state that the migration of the Celts ancestors from the out of the South Asia to Europe did not begin before 1900 BCE, and it was not later than 1300 BCE when Urnfield pre-Celtic culture firstly appeared in the Central Europe. So that is the contents, short report on the contents of the first chapter of the book. And only a few words I can tell you about the second chapter. The second chapter deals with the so-called chariot of the, I mean a pseudo chariot, not a true chariot, but a platform for throwing spears and for carrying warriors to and from the battlefield. All this I analyze in the second chapter with many illustrations from the coins of the Roman Republic and from Gallic coins and from the archaeological evidence. And I come to the conclusion that the pre-Celts of the Urnfield culture and of the early Hallstatt culture, they did not have true chariots. They have four-wheeled battle wagons used as true chariots. And then, under the influence of the Mediterranean chariots of Etruscans, Italian tribes in general, and ancient Greek tribes having battle and race chariots, they developed, they invented their own kind of battle transport, which was called a sedan, and it was two-wheeled, but it had very low railing or sideboards, not enough to be used as a tool for keeping balance of the charioteer, of the chariot warrior, while moving on this platform. That's why it was mostly a sitting transport vehicle, not a standing vehicle. That is my conclusion. and I hope you will like this book. I'd like to apologize for my mistakes made while presenting you this video, and I'd like to thank again my young daughter Sophia for her kind assistance for acting as a video operator. I'd like you to watch this video and to spread the information on the book among your friends and relatives to help me to support my scientific work. I work for the scientific truth, for the academic standards, and I face with a very fierce opposition on the part of the Western pseudo scientists. That is why I'd like you to help me. That is all for today. Thank you. Goodbye.